What's up, my dudes? Valk here. Today I'm going to be doing a showcase on Harry Potter of all things, because he's pretty underrated. I feel like he's a unit that's really underestimated for how good he actually is. Now, he can never be your primary damage source, I'm going to be honest with you. I have him in A tier on my tier list for a reason, but his AoE circle is too small, and his SPA on his CC is a little too long to actually be any good. But he's actually like he's pretty worth it. If you wanted to actually invest in him, you could actually see some really good results. And I'm going to try to showcase that to you guys today. We're just going to go into a regular story mode because he is very cheap, so I don't feel the need to go ahead and do anything. Let's go ahead and actually I got him recently. I'm working on him right now. My shiny primal Rengoku. I actually managed to pull him raw like this, by the way. I didn't use any items on him. I just got him like this. I was so hyped to see that. But we're going to use this Rengoku to kind of clear out the early waves. And I want to show you guys what Harry is really capable of. Because I do believe Harry Potter is actually a pretty good unit. I feel like in terms of like how balanced he is, I feel like he's like a really well-rounded unit. He has very clear strengths, very clear weaknesses. He can get overwhelmed by waves because he's not the strongest in wave clear. But he is a really solid unit nonetheless. So we're going to put Donut Boy right here. We're going to let him kind of cook. And we're going to leave him be because he should be perfectly fine for the earlier waves. So we're just going to leave Donut Boy alone. He should be perfectly good. His AoE, his range is actually pretty... I've seen people say his range is bad. I'm going to be real, for on placement, it's actually not that bad. But no, I need to mess with him more. I want to test with the Rengoku more, then I'll make a showcase on him. But for now, I actually think he's actually quite decent. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to max out bottom path Bulma because we don't need a lot of cash. I just want cash so I can play with buffers and stuff like that. But you guys will get to see what Harry Potter can do here in a bit. The boy who lifts. The boy who mogs. Harry Potter, dude. Harry Potter is actually really cool. I think he is probably one of the more underrated units in the game. I'm going to go ahead and put him like way in the back. He's really good for cleaning up leakers. And he's just good in general because if you actually stick him somewhere, probably like way away from the entrance, you can actually see some really cool results. He has some really high multipliers too to his damage, but he is single target throughout the majority of his upgrades, so that's something to really keep in mind. But if you go bottom path, basically, you can see exactly how much range he's able to get. And he ends on this very tiny circle, but whenever you consider how much total cost he is, you realize that he's actually pretty damn good. If you go ahead and you place him in like a 4 placement with like I want to place him in a 4-stack placement with Bulma, because I do believe he is a 4 placement unit, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm gonna place him in a 4-stack placement, not with Bulma, with Nami. Don't know why I always mix those two names up. Whatever, I literally know who this is. I obviously know who Bulma is. I love Dragon Ball. But with Nami, I always whenever we max out Nami, you're going to be able to see exactly what this can do, what this setup can do. So now we're going to go here. We're going to go to the boy who lifts, and we're just going to go Axio Broom. Now, if I wanted to, I could go Leviosa, and Leviosa would be good. But at 4 placement, whenever you consider his range and his damage output, because his damage output is actually pretty decent, he's going to be able to do some major work. You just got to get all 4 of them maxed out and ready to go. And this is going to be where you want like AoE buffers, like Sakura. Sakura is going to be really good on top of it, because of 4 placement, you're not really going to be target buffing too much. But you guys can see exactly how good he actually is. And in the one of these, we're just going to go Leviosa. I think we can go Leviosa these paths because they're going to be so good range wise. I want to say, I don't think so. I think we just go bottom path, honestly. I think we just keep sticking to the bottom. I think bottom path is going to be the way to go because we're going to be able to basically hit the entire map using bottom path because it's just really good. So, yeah, you guys can see wave 9, we managed to get 3 of the Harry Potters up there. And we're going to go ahead and put Sakura down next, and we're going to give them another full AoE buff because I do think just full sending with these full AoE buffs and these really cheap units is a really viable strategy, especially if you're like somewhat brand new to the game. This could be something for you to look into. But you guys can see the amount of just hellfire they can rain down from across the map because their range, whenever they get buffed by like Bulma, for example, is absolutely insane. Like, they're really good. Like, look at this range, right? Look at this. And they're just good naturally, and they're really good whenever they get buffed up by Bulma. So we're going to go ahead and do this now. Now we're going to set up for a Sakura buff. Where's she at? There's useless, I mean Sakura. And then we're going to go ahead and go bottom, and then we do 2 top. Now we just wait for our Wavely stipend so we can go ahead and fully upgrade Sakura's bottom path to get this full AoE up buff this full AoE buff up and running. You don't really, like I said, unless you manage to run like Omnipotent, unless you manage to roll like an Omnipotent Harry, you're really going to want to make sure to have like full AoE buffers like Sakura and Nami on the team. That way you can actually full send these buffs and get these units as strong as they need to be. Because they're not going to ever be like absolutely insane powerhouses. No limit 4 placement should. But they will be good enough to be able to actually do some major work. It's why Omnipotent is probably one of the most slept on traits in the game right now if you manage to roll Omnipotent on something. Because it's really good right now in the game currently to go ahead and take one unit and full send it to the moon. And make it basically as strong as humanly possible. So something like Omnipotent is actually really good because the current meta of the game is just taking one unit and full sending it. But yeah, you guys can see here, now their attack stat is at 2500, level 1 Mythic, with no rank ups, no nothing, no upgrades basically, no traits, no artifacts, nothing. 2547 attack stat with 73.9 range with Nami buffing him. I think that's pretty damn good personally. And you guys can see exactly what type of range he's able to do. And like, this is just let the artillery rip kind of thing, right? Like, that's all we're basically doing with him, is you just kind of letting the artillery go and just letting him absolutely just rip it up. So I guess what we can try to do next and see if we can give one of them a Steve apple and see how much damage they do with Steve. Let's see. If I go, where does her buff reach to? I go like here, I should be out of her buff range. Yep, so now I can work at my own pace. Alright, cool. So, never mind, we're in buff range, which sucks because I don't want them to get buffs. So it took a second to actually kick in. Here. I want to make sure I just buffed the boy who lives. Okay, okay, we're just getting right, we're just right there. We're just barely in range. Right here. Here we go. For sure this time, right? Right? Okay, we're actually out of range this time. Alright, cool. So now we're going to go work on the big friend, and we're going to let this just kind of rip. Steve's going to be my next showcase, by the way. Steve is really, really damn good. You guys will see in the next showcase. We'll have to do an infinite for Steve, though, because his top path is so expensive. But Steve is really damn good. So we're going to wait till we get one big golden apple to give to one of the boys who lift. And yeah, that's basically where we're at with this. So you can see what his potential damage could be with Harry Potter plus Sakura buff, not Harry Potter, Steve plus Sakura buff, and see what Harry Potter could be cooking with at level 1. Do keep in mind exponential scaling is the thing in the game. As you rank up units, as you level them up, they are going to get much more attack, because exponential scaling and the way the buffs work. The way the buffs work is basically the buff gets applied to a number, creates a new number, at which point a new buff would be applied to the new number and not the original number. So you can get pretty crazy with the buffs. You can get pretty silly with it. So we're going to follow the golden apple, see who gets buffed by it, and then click them and see what happens. Or we can just click them all. Oh, you get buffed by it. 8,500. That's pretty damn good in my opinion. That's going to allow him to hit pretty hard. And if you guys look, you can pay attention to, he does burn DOT on his hits. So not only does he have basically map-wide range without Nami stacking, like we only have one Nami down. We're not using multiple Namis. I do know the Mythical Ascension bug is a thing. If you guys don't know what Mythical Ascension bug, basically any unit that is mythically ascended right now currently generates 2 times money than it's supposed to, and has double strong buffs than it's supposed to. So, yeah. This is like, that's really good. The fact that he does tick damage, it's 8450, etc. Really, really strong. We're going to see how well he's able to handle these waves. I imagine all 4 of the Harrys can handle the waves really, really good, because this wave does stack up. But this is what I was talking about how he can get pretty overran pretty easily. If I went ahead and I was to swap now, this one, swap him now with a top path, I believe we will be able to see the top path do its work, where the top path has actually a pretty decent AoE size. See how it picks them up. The AoE doesn't, or the CC really does not last very long. It lasts like a solid, what, second, 1 second, 2 seconds, something like that. And it's on a pretty decently high SPA. It's on, this isn't the SPA of the actual Leviosa move. This is still, he's still single target in this path, right? But it just allows him to just slow them down for basically a little bit, and it allows you to buy a little bit of time. I don't think it's all too good. Same thing with the Force Choke. I just don't think the Levitation CC, which CC stands for Crowd Control, I just don't think Levitation Crowd Control is all that good. Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.